So we call this view of an object, we call this a pictorial view. So you'll get to see some videos on this and a little bit more detail. But pictorial view, guys, is basically an isometric drawing, sketch, or view so that it shows the three main views. So if you look at the blue arrow is pointing to the front of the part. So that's indicated by the lightly grayed out surfaces. So if you were standing directly in front of this part, you would only see those grayed out surfaces, okay? You wouldn't see any of the other sides, top, bottom, or back. So what we want to do, we want to take this isometric view, this isometric drawing, and we want to create a front, a right, and a top view. The way that we're going to do this is I'm just going to do a quick sketch on the board, and then I'm going to play a video showing you how to do this on a piece of graph paper. Okay, and I did it live, so that, and even any little measuring mistakes and stuff that I went back and fixed, and anything I had to edit and post, you'll see that even with years of experience and simple objects like this, you still have to pay close attention to your drawing. Now, the reason why we're going to do it this way, why we're going to take an isometric view and we're going to draw three views from it, is because sometimes, often actually, when we have to create a part and we, like maybe we're repairing something, or if we have to repair a part, or if we have to reverse engineer something, which is again a very typical thing we'll need to do in machining and manufacturing, we do that from a physical object, right? So a physical object is 3D, so we can kind of turn it around and look at it, right? So this is about what we get, and that, you know, we're a little limited here, but this is about what we'd see, right? We'll be able to see more than just a surface. We can kind of pan around it, right? So we're looking at the three main views: the front, the top, and the right hand side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do this, and I don't know if you guys are watching on a computer screen or on a phone or whatever. This may be too small for you, but I want you to get an idea. The first thing I do is you'll see it on when I do the graph paper one, when I'm actually doing the drawing, everything gets measured out. But when I'm doing a sketch, this is what I would do before I do the drawing. Okay, so I'm going to look at the front view. Notice 3-inch. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the overall width, overall depth, and overall height. So I'm going to start with the front view. 3-inch goes all the way along the bottom. There's my 3-inch. Now, I need to look at my drawing and figure out, okay, the part, it looks like it's 2 inches high. Okay, you can see that. I don't know if you can see my mouse or not. But you, oh no, you can't. You have to see it here. Okay, so there's that 2-inch down here. 3-inch was in the front. So I know that 2 inches is the overall height, but what I want to do is I want to sketch this line right here, right? I've sketched this. Let me drag this up for you. This is where it's going to be a little bit challenging, but we'll make it work. So I've already sketched the line from here to here. That's my 3-inch. Now I want to sketch this perpendicular line right here. So I need to look over here and see what information do I have? How do I know how tall this is? I don't want to be distracted by other dimensions. Notice it's 2 inches overall height. This step at the top is 0.5, and this opening at the back is 0.5. But I don't have anything here that tells me what the height is. So what I can do is I can take this 2-inch, I can subtract this 0.5, which is from here to here, and then I can subtract this 0.5, which is the height of this step, and that will tell me how much is left here, right? So I know that this is 1 inch high because its overall height is 2 inches minus this 0.5 step right here, minus this thickness of 0.5 here, leaves me with 1 inch. So what I'll do is I'll go back. I'll draw a 1 inch step here. I know that it's 3 inches across, and those two legs, right, or two arms, maybe we'll call them, this here, this here, and this here. See how they overhang this front section here? Oh, I'm on the wrong slide. The arm here and the arm here overhang this. So this is actually a rectangle under here, right? Because you can see where this vertical line stops and this arm comes out here. Well, underneath here is this line right here. Remember we talked about hidden lines? So there's a hidden line under here that continues here and carries on out the other side. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw right? It's really a rectangle that we're looking at. And based on that drawing there, we know we have a 0.5 step for that arm. The same on the other side. How do I know it's the same? How do I know that this arm is 0.5 when only this one is labeled? Because on engineering drawings, guys, if they were different, it would tell you, right? So it's logic. It's not making assumptions. Okay, we never ever assume anything on a drawing. If you're unsure, then you ask. But in this case, only one of those arms is dimensioned and the other one is not dimensioned. That means that they're the same. So I can go ahead and I can draw that. But what I need to do is I need to, well, how wide do I draw this, right? How wide is this step? So if we look up here, how wide is this? How wide is this? Notice 1 inch from this surface to the outside. Follow the extension line up and follow it up. So I know the width of this arm is 1 inch. I know the width of this top. See, the width is 1 inch. The overall width is 3 inches. So it's 1, 1, and 1. So now I have, by my powers of great deduction, I know that this is 1 inch, and I know that this is also 1 inch. And in the middle there is 1 inch, right? Now I can look at, go back to my object here. I've got this rectangle drawn. I have the fronts of both of these arms drawn. Now I need to draw this gray surface. Where is it located? Well, notice that it sits, this is my first rectangle. Oh, I'm on the wrong picture, I'm sorry. This is my first rectangle under here. This cube sits on this surface right here of this rectangle. We know it's 1 inch wide. How tall is it? Remember here, 0.5 from the top of this arm to the top of the step. So now we go back. Okay, and we're going to draw. Okay, it's not gonna, this is why we sketch first. Okay. Okay, so now I've got the front of my two arms, just like in the drawing. I have my big boss step on the top, and I have my big square here. So is there anything missing in this front view? Look at the gray. I got my big gray rectangle, I got my two gray arms, and I got my gray boss sitting on the top there, or the cube feature sitting on the top. We are missing something. Notice if you look at the back, notice this notch right here. So, and it doesn't tell you how far that notch goes. So if it doesn't tell you, use logic. It goes all the way. Because if it didn't go all the way, it would tell you, right? It would tell you that it stopped 1 inch away or something like that. Notice though, from the bottom of the part up 0.5 is where the back ledge is here. So what we need to do is we need to, on our drawing, we need to go up 0.5 inches and we need to create a hidden line there. That tells me that there's a surface in that location, but I just can't see it in this view. And this will become more clear as we start creating other views, okay? So let's move this up to the top view. Now what I want you to do on your drawing is I want wherever the top of the feature is, the highest point on your feature, I want you to go an inch and start your next part or your next view, okay? So we want to go up. We want the top view to be no closer to this than 1 inch, okay? So what I like to do is I like to bring construction lines up. Now remember, we are only sketching. So when you're using a piece of graph paper, you can actually go up 10 squares with your construction lines, or maybe 9 squares, so that your construction lines don't run into your part, okay? Or into your new view. So I want to carry this information up. So this tells me where some of this information is going to be. So if I look at my drawing, I can see that the arms, notice if you look at this, if you were to look down on the top, the arms stick out the farthest, right? So I know that the arms are going to go here and here, okay? How far back? This will make sense to you in a second. I've just drawn this line. Oh, I've just drawn this line and this line. How far do they extend over the front? Look at this, 0.5, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. Maybe. There we go. I'm going to go back. And maybe what I should also do for you is this. Sorry. Notice this 2-inch dimension is, should have showed you this first. So I've drawn this line and, good Lord. I've drawn this line and this line. I want to draw the line perpendicular to it next. And notice the length is 2 inches right here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this 2-inch line, right? And I'm going to draw this 2-inch line. If you look at the, if you imagine you're looking down from the top, you see the 2 arms and the boss. From the top, it's just going to look like a straight line. It's going to look straight across. The only difference is going to be is you're going to see this arm is going to do this all the way to the back. This arm is going to do this all the way to the back, right? And then 0.5 from the front, which we just figured out, is that hidden line, but it's a solid line here, and then it continues on as a hidden line here. Again, look at the view, right? So this line right here continues on underneath. We can't see it. And it continues on underneath here, and we can't see it. So that's this here. Hidden line, solid, hidden line. And now our boss is 1 inch from the back. So, sorry, our square. So that's looking down from the top. I can kind of get rid of these construction lines a little bit here. So my view stands out a little nicer. So from the front, from the top, and we have one more thing we're missing. Remember this hidden line right here? It's also shown in the top view, right? So we're going to see this where it intersects right here. This surface and this surface where they intersect. Oh my gosh, I did it again. Where this surface and this surface intersect at this line, that's the line you're going to see. And it's 0.5 from the back of the part. So we draw that line. Okay. So this is how the part will look looking down from the top. So now what we want to do is we want to use a system by means of a 45-degree miter line to create the right side view. So you can create the front and the right side view and then use a 45-degree miter line and create the top. Or you can have the front and the top and use the 45-degree miter line and create the side, right side. So how we do that is we just put a set of construction lines here. Okay. Go from the highest feature in the front view and the feature closest to the right side view and draw a line. Now, sometimes the object actually comes to this corner. So all you got to do is draw a line from that corner. But when the highest part of your feature isn't at this corner, and if the tallest part of the, if this side isn't all the way over, if there was a notch here, you'd have to extend this line, just like we've done. And then you draw a 45-degree miter line. Okay, it's got to be 45 degrees because what we want to do is we want to take this object and we want to bring it across, go 90 degrees and come down and create that object here. And how we do that is like this, guys. So let's put this view way up in the corner here for a second. So I'm just going to take construction lines, and every single line, whether it's hidden or solid, and you got to keep in mind that I'm freehanding here. So you're going to do this with a rule. And then this line here. Okay. So I use construction lines to take all of those features and bring them across. And then what I do is I take construction lines here, right? And here, and here, and here, and here. Construction lines, lots and lots of construction lines. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at my features, I'm going to look at my print, and I'm going to start bringing these lines down. So this first line is the arm, right? And we're going to be looking at the part. Okay, we're now looking at this side here, guys, right? This and this. So this, we're looking at this surface right here and this surface right here. Okay, so this is the right side view here. So I want to translate this information over onto whatever features I need to, I need to use this and this to create that right side view. So I'm going to bring this down. So notice this is the arm. This is the top of the part. So I don't want to draw the arm there. I want to find the arm. This is the arm in the front view, right? So I'm going to come down. I'm going to draw my construction line. I'm going to just kind of lightly find it. There it is right there. Okay. And I'm going to draw the front of the arm right there. Okay. So now I've got the front of this arm comes across, comes down, and I draw it there. Okay. So now what I need to do is I need to know where this front face is. Okay, that's that second line right there. So it's going to come down. Remember that front face is underneath the arm, right? So if we look again at the print, okay, so I've just drawn this line right here. What I want to do is I want to draw this line right here. So I know that this line goes all the way to the bottom. All right, goes all the way to the bottom. So I'm going to go back to my, this is where I left off. I want this feature here that goes all the way to the bottom. I'm going to come down, and you would draw your construction lines as you do this, right? You draw construction lines, okay? And it goes all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, so now I've got so far this line, that line, which was originally a construction line, but now it's an object line because it connects this front face, right? Now if I look back at my boss, because that's going to be the front of my boss there. So I come down, okay, there's my boss right there. So I know I can draw my line. Oops. I know I can draw my line to my boss. I know that this is the back of my boss here. So I'm going to come down. Okay. So that's the back of my boss. And the back of my boss only goes down to, notice in my print, notice here, this boss only goes down 0.5, right? It does go down further on the front, but it only goes down 0.5 right here. So what we're going to do, is we're going to bring that boss down to this point right here, right? That's that 0.5. So that means that this arm actually then continues all the way to the back, because my boss only comes down to this point, right? We see that arm come all the way across. And to prove that's true, notice this is the front of the arm. Notice it goes all the way back, right? It goes all the way back. And so that is what we've done here, is we've drawn this arm all the way back, okay? So what's the next thing that we got to do? Well, the next thing we have to do is we have to recognize that these arms, if you notice up here, the arm continues back, right? This line is hidden behind the boss here. So this arm, oh, we don't have to draw that because we drew it on the front. Okay, so when a hidden line, sorry, I'm talking without showing you. See this line right here? This surface actually, this rectangle right here, okay, this top surface, you see that as a line in the right side view. This top surface is also in existence, and it will be seen as a line, but it's behind this surface, so it would be shown as a hidden line. But if there's an object line directly in front of a hidden line, you only show the object line, obviously, okay? All right. So let's bring this view back. It's probably just easier if yeah, that's just easier. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do here, guys, is I want to know on the underside of this, if you look here, I want to draw this piece right here next. So it's 2 inches deep. Okay, I know it's a total of 2 inches deep. I don't know how this is happening, but there we go. Okay, so it's a total of 2 inches deep. The arm, we already know, overhangs 0.5. We've already drawn that. We need to know now that it actually, this line doesn't go all the way back. So 2 inches minus 0.5 minus 0.5 will give us 1 inch of length of line here, right? So that's what we're going to draw next. So where is that surface? That's that hidden line up here, guys. See that hidden line? That's that surface we can't see on the underside. So we bring that down, right? Come down, and it's right here, right? We come down. Now we can close this off. Okay, and now this line, this is the back of the part. We can come down. We come over to this step. It's starting to look familiar, right? We can get rid of this construction line. It's not needed. We can get rid of this construction line because it's not needed. But there is one more thing that we do need to do. Notice in this view, or in this, if we're looking at this surface, you got to think about, are there any hidden lines? Is there anything that I can't see behind the surface? So where the front of this square comes down, you notice there's a surface here and a surface here. It creates a line right here. So that's a hidden line. And this line right here and the line behind it, right? They're also hidden lines, right? Because this juts out 0.25. This in here is, or sorry, this juts, you got to tell me when I'm not doing this. Okay, this juts out 0.5. And this is another 0.5 right here. So I have a 1/2 inch hidden line here, and I have a 1/2 inch high hidden line here. So if I go back to my drawing, right? Go back to my drawing, I have a hidden line here, and I have a hidden line here. Okay, so now what I can do is I can go back, I can get rid of some of these construction lines, right? I can get rid of all this. I like to leave, as a matter of fact, when you're sketching, you're told not to erase your construction lines. But when you're creating a drawing, you don't want to leave them on, okay? So essentially, what we end up with is in a sketch, not in a final drawing, just a sketch, we end up with this. And when you use the miter line style, remember I said that we're going to leave an inch here on our drawings, but whatever the distance is from this surface to this surface, whatever this linear distance is from here to here, it's exactly the same distance as from here to here, because we used a 45-degree miter line. So it keeps this gap exactly the same. And that's what we want, right? We want that symmetry.